So coming into a comfortable position, relaxing down on your back. You can allow the legs to come into any shape or position that feels good for your body. Legs might like to be straight. Maybe the arms and the legs are out wide. Perhaps you have the knees bent like I'm doing, or maybe even the knees are bent, but they're out with the soles of the feet together. So just finding something that feels right for you and taking your time to feel into that and just noticing if you seem to be swayed to choose one position versus another, not because of it feeling a certain way, but because you think that that's what you should do. Instead, just feel into what's the right position for you at this moment in time in your body. We'll allow the eyes to close down. We're just going to take a bit of time to be still, and gradually we will move towards some silence. But before we do, feel free to draw awareness to your breath by using the hands if you wish. You might like one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest, or both on the belly. Any variation of this can work really nicely. And this is just a way to have feedback to build awareness of breath. But for now, we'll just allow, again, the eyes to close and the body to relax. We'll take some time to be still and just to be quiet for ourselves. So as you lie here, begin to notice where your mind is at. Begin to notice how your physical body feels. And begin to notice and take into account your emotional state or your energetic state. This might have something to do with what you have experienced or interactions that you might have had before coming into your yoga practice. So there can be a great deal of things that influence and really affect how we might feel entering into our practice. But one of the beautiful things about our yoga practice is that we can use it as a way to create a clearing, to create a reset, and to create ultimately space for us to feel a little bit more in alignment with ourselves. Feel free to keep the hands wherever they are, or if they are on the abdomen and the chest and you wish to let them relax beside the body, just allow them to soften there. When you're ready, take really small, gradual movements through your toes and through your fingers. Maybe moving through the ankles and through the wrists, and you can do this with the knees bent, or you can choose to do this with the legs straight. Just starting to feel into a little bit of movement through the body here. Maybe the arms begin to slowly reach over the head as you just come into a big stretch, reaching from one end to the other. And maybe this prompts you to take a deep inhale, sucking in the air, and exhale, let it out. We're going to gradually draw the knees in towards the chest, and we'll squeeze into a nice tight little ball. Feel free to draw your forehead in and your chin in and wrap the arms all the way around to give yourself that really tight, compact position. If you really prefer to have it nice and tight, you can stay here. If you prefer to have it a little bit looser, then you can choose to loosen that. It really depends what you're going for. So it's up to you. 1 or 2 more breaths in this position. And then we'll start to allow the body to just release a little bit from where it is. And we'll take the legs up and we'll just give the feet a bit of a shake. A little bit of a shake. Now, with our balance work that we're going to be focusing on in this practice, we really want to take care of the feet quite a bit because they're going to be doing a lot of work for us. Bit more shaking. It's also important to remember that the feet can't do the work if whatever is above the feet, the structure that's above the foundation, is not strongly stacked and active. Okay, we'll let that release. From here, right away, bring the legs into a 90-degree angle. So the knees are bent, the thighs are stacked directly on top of the hips, and then the ankles are in alignment with the knees. So you have this bend, this flat positioning of the shins. We're going to take the hands, palms, the heel of the hands, and push them against the thighs to the point that you can straighten your elbows. Now, as soon as you do that, you should feel the abdomen engage. If you allow the lower back to have a lot of space and the pelvis to tilt, then you will not feel that engagement. So what you want to imagine is you're trying to push the thighs into the palms of the hands and push the palms of the hands or the heels of the hands into the thighs. So what we're doing is we're using this resistance exercise. We'll just stay here for a little bit longer. We're using this resistance exercise to create awakening in the midsection of the body, into the trunk muscles. And this is commonly referred to as the core. But these trunk muscles, I like to say that they're a trunk because it's all the way around. And when we say core, remember that core is like a core of an apple. It doesn't only have one side. We've got the front, the sides, and the back. Keep that resistance for the last 3. Feel your lower back anchoring down. 2 and 1. From here, hook the hands on the backs of the knees and lift the head off the mat. I like to point my toes when I come into these little rocks. Now just start to rock on your spine. Now, typically when we do these rocks, we kind of use the legs coming closer and further away from us to get the body to rock. But what I want you to try to focus on is if you can keep the same distance between the thighs and the face the whole time. You can keep the same angle of bend in your shins, your knees the whole time, so that the movement comes from the trunk, not coming from momentum from the movement of your legs. Take 1 more, and then we'll come all the way up. From here, we're going to drop the left foot in front of the right foot. The knees are open to the side, and then we're going to circle the chest around to the left, to the right, and back through the center. To the left, to the right, and through the center. We'll do a few more in this direction. Just allowing the body to move with any kind of expression that you want. And then we'll swap the right foot in front and we'll go to the right, over to the left, and around. So I'm sort of staying up as I pass through the back center, but you can drop the chin down. It just depends, again, how the tension in your body wants to express itself physically. And this is also a really creative way for us to tap in, I guess we'll say, for us to tap in to what we really need in our bodies. Okay, and then we'll come back into the center. Just finding a position that feels comfortable for your body to sit in. It might still be this 1 foot in front and 1 foot behind, or you might like to cross the ankles. It's up to you. Finding a position with the hands that works, and we are going to allow the eyes to close down. So from this position, although we're not balancing as we would normally perceive a balance to be, we are balancing weight between our sitting bones. So we're going to draw the focus and the awareness now down to the sitting bones. And you might notice if there's excessive weight on one sitting bone versus the other. Doesn't mean we necessarily have to change that. If that feels right for you, if that feels good for you, then you can stay with that alignment that you have. Right from the sitting bones, we're going to draw awareness through the lower portion of the spine, and just imagine a gradual lifting up through that area. Shift your focus now towards the middle area of the spine. And again, imagine a gradual lifting up of that area. But this is gradual, so it's still soft. We're not trying to overtense. Now we'll draw our awareness up to the to the top of the spine, the upper spine. And imagine, again, a gradual lifting. Now, this tractioning of the spine should have taken some pressure off of your sitting bones. Now, if we really sink into the spine, which you can do just out of curiosity, like drop it and kind of slump, there should be a bit more pressure downwards. But if we lift up and we lengthen, then we feel lighter. Now, take this concept, and when we get into balancing on the feet, this concept applies, and it helps so much with our balance. The upward energy of the spine really helps to take some pressure off of the downward weight of whatever is occurring in your pose or in your movement as you balance. You can draw the palms if you would like into a prayer position. We'll take a moment to bow the chin down to the chest. We often come into this idea of balance in our life as being something that we strive to work towards. And in reality, nothing is really ever perfectly in balance, as you might notice in your practice with your body. We might strive to achieve balance in our lives, but sometimes the idea of balance in everything is unrealistic. So as we move through the physical practice and the physical postures, be okay with the balance being a little bit more concrete and solid on one side, or a little bit more concrete and solid in certain poses than it might be on the other side or in other poses. Be okay with those imbalances, because then that helps us to feel more content and not exactly strive to things being perfectly balanced, but instead accepting that the imbalances have interesting components and they are a reality within our lives. And the fact of the matter is that we will get pulled in many different directions, which means sometimes things are completely off balance in order for us to achieve what we need to achieve. So just being mindful that balance is not always the thing to strive for, and that in finding balance, we often need to go off balance. So just accepting those things as we move through the practice. And when you're ready, you can allow the eyes to open up, and you can blink a couple of times. So we're going to allow the left leg to come out to the side, and we're going to draw the right leg in. So again, feeling the sitting bones down and the spine tall. Now you might have the left knee a little bit bent. That's totally fine. We're going to come into a nice side stretch through the right side of the body. So we're going to take the left arm, it's going to go on the inside of the left leg, and we're going to use that pressure to create a little bit of a twist to the right. And as you do, sweep your right arm up and over, and we're going to take the right hand palm and place it on the back of the head. Use the left arm to open and twist, and use the right hand and the right at the back of the head to open through the chest. And from this position, if you feel like you want, you can lean and slide your body weight as you reach your fingers closer towards your left foot. Now watch that your left knee is not rotating outward completely. Try to still keep it upright, and use the pressure of the elbow or the hand against the inner left leg to open and twist. Now, if you can go really far down, but you start to round in, then come up a little bit to keep length in your right side body. In other words, your right sitting bone is staying touching the mat as your right elbow lifts away from that spot. Staying here for 3 more breaths. Perhaps you have that left leg straight. Still, whatever is happening with that left leg, flex the toes. Keep anchoring right sitting bone down, right elbow reaches as the chest spirals open. And then we'll inhale. We're going to come all the way up, release the arm high. Exhale, lower it down. From here, you're going to turn your body over the left leg, flexing into the left toes. Inhale, lift the chest again. The knee can be bent, totally fine. You might also find that it's hard for you to be upright. That's okay too. We're going to keep the chest as lifted as possible, and then release the hands to reach towards the foot, keeping the chin away from the chest, lean the body forward towards the foot. Again, you might have the knee bent, you might have the leg straight, no matter which, flex the toes. In this case, we're still anchoring the right sitting bone down as you reach towards the left toes. You might have them close, they might be quite far. We're just working to get activation through the top of the left thigh to have release through the back of the left thigh. Staying for a few more breaths. Relax through the right knee. You can always pop something underneath the right knee if you find that it's kind of up in the air or the knee is giving you a little bit of feedback. And then we're going to inhale, take the arms all the way up, and exhale, just let them relax and soften down. We're going to swap sides. So the right leg will come out, the left leg will come in. Now already swapping from one side to the other, we're forced to look at misalignment within our bodies, and that's fine. Not attaching to this idea of balance in the literal sense within everything that we do, but being okay where things are pulled in one direction or another, or where we feel into imbalances in order to come into a bit more harmony. So flexing through the right toes, again, the knee might be bent, you might have the leg a little bit straight or all the way, either which way you're flexing the toes, taking the right arm on the inside of the right leg and giving that little push to twist the chest. From here, reach the left arm up, and then the back of the hand goes on the back of the head as you twist the chest open. Now, as you slide your right hand closer towards your right foot, be mindful of 2 things. Number 1, that your left sitting bone stays anchored down on the mat, and number 2, that your chest spirals open rather than rounding and curling forward. Everything that we do in our yoga practice is going to really be happening as a result of what we want to achieve. So in this case, we want to achieve stretching from the left sitting bone all the way to the left elbow. So that means we try to anchor those 2 parts further away from one another without sacrificing this chest twist, because then we'll change it to the back body. We want to keep it to the side body. Last breath here. And then inhale, releasing the left arm high and lower it down. Turn your body and your torso over to the right. Readjust through that right leg if you need to. Feeling nice and tall. You might even grab the flesh of the bum and pull it behind you. Flex the right toes, and then from here, reaching the hands. Now, this might be the strongest sensation for you. Perhaps when you try to come forward, the spine rounds because there's tension in areas of the body that isn't allowing you to go forward with an extended long spine. That's fine. Stay in this upright position to be able to keep the integrity of the spine and just hinge at the hips rather than round at the spine. Again, there's no right or wrong within our yoga practice. It just simply comes down to what are we trying to achieve? What areas of the body we're trying to target? What is our outcome? What is the end goal? What are we looking to get out of our efforts? Perhaps you extend a little bit forward. We're here for a few more breaths. Anchoring again through your left sitting bone as you flex the toes. 3, breathing. 2, and 1. Inhale, reach up high. And exhale, let the arms relax and soften down. From here, we're gonna roll over onto the hands and the knees into a tabletop position. We'll allow the hands, palms to go flat, spreading the fingers nice and wide. From here, I just really want you to feel into gripping the fingertips down into the mat, pushing the palms down into the mat, and again, just really spreading through those fingers to feel into the surface area. The idea with the grip of the hands is that we have more surface area to be able to accommodate for balance. Now that would be if we were balancing on our hands, which in a sense, we are using our hands right now to get a bit of traction and a bit of shifting in the body. So just feeling into that right now. And we're gonna try and get that in the feet as well when we do eventually come up to standing. Let's shift the weight so that the left leg reaches back long. Try to reach the toes towards whatever is behind you. Nice and long through that leg. And here we are gonna come into a balance on the left hand. So your right arm is now going to come forward. Reaching the left leg back and the right arm forward. These two end points are going further and further away from one another. We're trying to feel that length into the body. Reaching forwards and backwards for 3. Try not to let the body weight shift too far back, but come forward 2. And the last reach, 1, lower everything down. Get situated again. Feel into the hands. Sometimes it helps to kind of paw the mat in between so that you can allow for a bit more lengthening and stretching in the palms. Let's take the weight now over to the left knee. Right leg reaches back long. Feel the toes go long. So right now you should feel there's a pushing down energy through your palms. Relax your breath in your jaw. There's a lengthening from your toes to the crown of the head. And then as you shift off your left hand, the right hand has to take a bit more weight. So this is no different than when we balance on one foot. We're used to balancing on 2 feet. So the opposite foot, or whichever foot or hand in this case, is taking all the weight. Now that has to really turn on. Grip the fingertips down, push down through your right palm, reach your left fingers forward more, reach your leg back more, and then we'll lower everything down to the mat. We're gonna come into some toe cruncher. So lean forward and tuck your toes under, and then we'll sit the heels, or sit the bum rather down to the heels. So from the side, you do wanna have the toes tucked and space between the ankle and the mat. Now just this simple act might be, it might be pretty strong for you. So if that's the case, you can take weight forward on your hands, okay, as much as you need to. If you find that you get here and you're okay, but the intensity builds quite quickly, again, that's very normal. Take weight on the hands if and when you need to. Perhaps you're here and you don't feel much intensity until quite a long time in. That's okay too. These are all perfectly normal responses to have. It really just depends how used to our feet are, how accustomed they are to being in a position like this. So if you do a lot of kind of kneeling down, then you might feel okay with this. But if not, then it might be really confronting in the body. So I encourage you to just let the shoulders relax, maybe even shaking out the hands or giving a few little flicks of the fingers. Some big sighs through the mouth can feel really nice as well. And just staying here. We'll be here for about another 10 seconds. If you need to take weight into the hands to relieve some pressure in this downward energy, you totally can. Just staying here for another 5, breathing, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lean forward onto the hands. Now you can beat the feet or tap the toes just to let that release. And what we were working into is coming into the malleability of your foot so that when you balance, it really feels like you can recalibrate your balance when you start to feel off balance or you start to lose that balance. From here, we'll go into our opposite leg and arm again. So push down through the palms, taking the left leg back, taking the right arm forward. So here, we hadn't done a lot of movement. Balance is going to be different if we're being still or if we're moving. So when we did this in the beginning, we didn't move it a lot, but now we're going to. So we're going to rotate the wrist and the ankle in one direction. Doesn't matter which one, they don't have to synchronize. So we're doing a little bit of movement here. Go in the opposite direction. It's also good for the brain. Keep pushing down left hand. Reaching forward, backward. Let's finish long reach. Exhale, lower down. Let's come into the other side. Right leg back, left arm forward. So again, we find stillness. We find that center and then move the wrist and the ankle. Just feeling into that movement through those joints. Go in the opposite direction. Pushing down right hand. At the end, finish by reaching long and hold, and then again, lower everything down. Let's tuck the toes under again, sit the bum down towards the heels. You know your options. You can take the weight forward as much as you need to, or you can stay upright. The other thing that you want to make sure is that your toes are spread evenly. I personally have a tendency to squeeze my toes a bit together, so you might need to reach through and spread the toes out by using the fingers. So again, feel free to just be still. You can focus on calm breathing. You can close your eyes if you wish. You can roll and shrug your shoulders up and down. You can shake the hands. Move the head maybe. I'm going to be here for about another 20 seconds. So the malleability of the feet is really important with balance, because if the feet are just this kind of ice block, then when we start to lose the balance, there's no chance of recalibration. Whereas if the feet can be really malleable and pliable and they can feel into the ground, then when we start to feel like we're going to tip a little bit, then we can reshift the body weight. We can use the pinky toe to keep us in the center. We can use the ball of the foot. We can use the heel of the foot. We can use the whole foot to try and figure out how to build up that structure so that things feel much more stable. Okay, let's come out. Leaning forward, give the toes a little bit of a tap. We've got this last round here, flat through the hands, palms. Again, left leg will go back, right arm will go forward. So we didn't do a lot of movement before. We just rolled the ankle and the wrist. And now we're going to take a little bit more movement. So we're going to tap both down. Then we're going to go up, down, and up, down, and up. A few more. Tap and lift, tap and lift. Last one. Tap and lift. Lower everything down. We'll come into the last side, taking the right leg back, the left arm forward, and then we'll go tap and lift and tap. And keep going like this. So all we're doing is kind of demonstrating the increase of concentration that we have to have when we incorporate movement at times when we're trying to balance. One more, tap and reach, lower everything down. Last time for our toe cruncher, really spread the toes, use whatever sort of technique you need to, whether it's the fingers or some other little maneuver, and then sitting down. So let's allow the body to just see if you can find stillness. Again, if it's really unbearable to the point that you have to fidget and you're not able to overcome that with breath, then just lean and take some of the weight forward. Maybe the eyes close down. And visualizations can really help in our practice. So I want you to just imagine yourself in whatever balancing position that comes into your mind. Whatever balancing position that comes into your mind, and just really feel that strong. What does that feel like? You might be thinking, all it feels like is my feet hurt and my shins are talking to me. What does that look like for you to be balancing strong in that pose? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Just visualizing that and feeling into that. Okay, allow the eyes to open. You're going to lean forward. If you need to tap the toes, go ahead and do so. We are going to come into a forward fold. So let's take the feet nice and wide. We're going to tuck the toes under. You're going to push the hips up and come into a forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold. Let the head drop down. Give it a bit of a shake. And here, feel free to find a little bit of movement. Perhaps a sway with the body. Maybe you want to incorporate bending of the knees. Now, if you're really wanting to release the hamstrings, then I would say to just take a little bit more of your energy into moving the body rather than the knees. But if you're wanting to really release through the hips and the waist, then maybe the knees bend. So again, our practice is going to be right all the time, so long as it aligns with what we want to achieve. Couple more breaths in this forward fold. Feel free to take the feet as wide as you need to. They don't have to be just mat width distance. All right, from here, find a comfortable position for the feet, a depth or a width that works for you, because we are going to uncurl the spine. So maybe those feet are hip width or shoulder width, and we'll slowly start to uncurl. So take your time to gradually lift yourself up. Slowly, slowly. Coming up to the top, we'll turn the hands, palms forward. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Let it out. We're going to start our balance work right away. So we're going to shift the body weight over to the right foot. Now within our balance work, you want to find buoyancy in your standing leg so you can recalibrate. It's like if we had this stiff leg, this stiff icicle leg, and if we lose our balance, we have no way to recalibrate. So the foot is malleable. It's easy to manipulate and maneuver on the ground. The knee can bend and we have buoyancy so we can float. Yeah? Okay. So shifting the weight into that right leg. And from here, we're going to squeeze the left knee up towards the chest. Toes flexed or pointed, totally up to you. Now you can play around with how straight you want that standing leg. You can have it quite bent, which is going to be a lot of work for your quadricep muscle. You can have it very straight, which is harder to recalibrate your balance with, or you can find that somewhere in between. The idea is that we want to have freedom in this balance, freedom in our body. We're going to actually release the hands from the left leg. So for this part, I like to flex the toes, let it go, and then we're going to open up into cactus arms. So now we're adding a little bit more to this. We're adding a little bit more to our balance, and each time we add some layers to challenge that balance. Now imagine here your spine like when we were sitting down. Think of pushing down through your right foot, stretching up through the crown of the head. Action and reaction. Bounding down, rebounding up to feel a little bit taller. 3, 2, 1. Let's grab on the knee again. Squeeze the knee in towards the chest. And then from here, let the leg lower down. Come to the other side. Shifting the body weight over into the left leg. Buoyancy, feel that foot, spread the toes, grip into the mat, feel all of that in your foot, shifting the weight over, and we'll take the right knee up. Feeling into this position. There's a little pull with the bicep strength and the fingertips interlock to draw the knee towards the right shoulder. You feel that buoyancy in your standing leg so that you can easily recalibrate your balance should you feel a little bit off. Yes. Tall spine. I'm definitely feeling a little bit off on this side. And then from here, we're gonna let the leg go. Woo. So let the leg go. I think I'm on a bumpy bit. Let the leg go. And then we're gonna flex the toes. Cactus into the arms. There we go, that's it. Flexing the right toes, feeling into that standing leg and the pushing down energy of your right, left foot, and the lengthening up energy of the spine. 3, 2, 1. Interlock, grab, pull the knee in one more time, and then we'll let that drop down. Let's breathe in, the arms are gonna go up, and exhale, come all the way down. Let the body drop. You can shake the head out here. And again, we're gonna take a bit of time, maybe about 30 seconds to just do what you feel like you need to. If you're really wanting to lengthen the hamstrings, then focus on drawing the kneecaps up. The thigh muscles engage at the front top of the legs to release the back top portion of the legs. Now, feet can be wider, narrow, up to you. Feel free to let your head sway from side to side or come into movement where the knees will start to bend one at a time. These are different options for you just to feel into this rebound after our balance. Okay, and then from here, take your time to uncurl nice and slow, coming all the way up. Inhale, lift the chin. Exhale, side up and out. Okay, let's take it again. So staying where you are at the top of your mat, shift the weight over towards your right foot. Buoyancy into that right leg, squeeze and hug the left knee in towards the chest. Right away, let's flex the toes to let the leg go, cactus through the arms. Feeling into that. So from now, we've been pretty still. We've had a little bit of movement, but we're gonna take even more movement. Let's draw the hands palms into prayer position at the chest and open the left leg out to the left side. Left leg comes out to the left side. Still the left knee is bent as you flex the toes. Let's then again draw the knee forward. We'll finish by interlocking the fingers, squeeze and hug the knee in, and then let it go. Coming into the other side, shifting the weight over towards your left foot. Buoyancy in that left knee, spreading the toes, feeling it grounding. Hug the right knee in. Now it's quite helpful to find one spot to fix your gaze on. A spot that you know is not gonna move. We'll flex the toes. We'll let the hands go into cactus, and then we'll draw the knee out to the right side. Feeling into that bottom foot. Now, if during this process you've lost your balance, good for you. This is a learning tool. Draw the knee front of the body again, and then grab on, squeeze the knee up, and let it go. Breathe in, the arms go up. Exhale, come down. Now with this forward fold, we are going to be a lot more specific. So we'll have the feet either hip width or shoulder width, and we'll bend the knees and hook onto the big toes with the middle and the index finger. Allow the body to lengthen down long. Now, as we lengthen down, we want to constantly be lengthening the belly a little bit away so it doesn't catch on the thighs or we feel that the tail is pulling us down. So in a sense, we're tilting the pelvis more to allow the spine to go long. So use a bit of strength if you find that that's helping. But force and strength is not necessary to become flexible in the body. It gets you there faster, but it's much more risky. So we just allow time and gravity
to gradually draw the body into a position where it's feeling longer and a little bit more limber. If the elbows are bending, the elbows come out to the sides. If the arms are still straight, that's fine too. Your body will be at different positions just depending on where you are. Breathe here. Let's release through the grip and uncurl, taking your time. Nice and slow. Okay, so if you're not right at the top of the mat, just make sure that you are there. Let's take our sequence again, shifting the weight into the right foot, balancing on the right foot, feeling that foot, toes spread, pick up that left knee, squeeze it in right away, flex the foot, let the grip go, cactus arms. Draw the leg out to the side, and then from here, we're gonna draw the knee to the front again. Do that one more time. Drawing the leg out to the side, draw the knee into the front. Now we're not gonna hook onto the knee again. We're gonna kick the heel in, bring the leg back, come into our lunge position. So we're here in this lunge position. You want to squeeze just a little bit between the shoulder blades to open the chest and to lift the chin up towards the ceiling. Now the back knee can be completely straight, a little bit bent, or a lot bent, lifting the chest. Breathe here. We're going to give this front leg a little bit of reprieve. So let's draw the hands down, drop the back knee, untuck the back toe, shift your body weight back to flex through your right toes. Long spine, and then you might come forward, but not rounding. We don't want the tail to curl under. We want the tail to go back. So the tailbone and the right heel are trying to go as far away from each other as they possibly can. Long spine. Breathe here. Okay, let's come forward, flat through the foot, walk the hands, tuck the toes, lift the back knee off the mat. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come into our balance from here. So inhale, lifting up, cactus arms, and then we're gonna draw that knee up to the chest. So left knee up to the chest, then out to the side, back to the front, hook it on, pull it in, and lower the foot down, okay? Let's try the other side. Shifting the weight into the left leg, buoyant in that left leg, spreading the toes. Interlock the fingers to pick up the right knee, squeezing it in. Right away, you can flex the toes if you wish. Release the arms. We'll open the knee out to the side. So recalibrating your balance is part of the process. Again, draw the knee forward, of learning how to balance, and draw the knee out, and again, draw the knee forward. Squeeze the heel in, take the leg back, reach it long, lower the toes. Now the whole time you want to think spine tall. There's just a little squeeze into the back body as you tilt your chest up. Maybe the gaze turns up as well. Long through the front of the right hip. The back knee can be bent or straight. Okay, let's drop the hands down to frame the foot. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toes, shift the body weight, flex through the front foot, inhale. Long spine, lift the chest. Now you might have the hands here, and that might be enough of a stretch for you. Perhaps when you drop the hands down, you round. If that's the case, come up higher so you stay straight. Then you can hinge forward and take the hands a little bit further. Stay calm in your breath and relaxed in your jaw. Remember to send the tailbone further away from the heel, and the heel on the left leg further away from the tail. Okay, let's come forward. Flat through the foot. Walk the hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, spread through your front toes so you really get that feeling. Inhale, cactus. Now remember, when you come up to balance, you've got to push down through your front foot so that you can go up. Good, then we'll go out to the side. And again, we'll come forward. Finish by interlocking the fingers and hugging the knee in. And drop the foot down. Breathe in, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let the head drop. Let the shoulders relax. We're gonna come into a balance from this position. So let's shift the body weight towards the left, or the right foot rather. Use the hands, and then we're gonna take that left leg back. Now, if the hamstring is feeling quite tight on the right leg, you're not able to connect your hands to the ground, hopefully you can use some sort of prop. Alternatively, you can place your hands on the knee and lengthen the spine in this way. So you really want to feel the length from the toes to the crown of the head. This is just like we did when we were on the ground on our hands and knees, except for we're now balancing on the foot. Remember to push down to feel lift. Sometimes this is easier to achieve if the hands are not low down. Maybe you lift them up to feel that. Holding here. Just let the arms go soft and relax. You should feel the right glute, the right hip is really working for you. For 3, 2, and 1. Let the hands lower, drop the left foot down. Let the head release, give it a shake. Let's come to the other side. Shift the hands towards your left foot. Shift the weight so the right leg goes back long. Feeling into that length. And you can choose to keep the hands down the whole time, or you can choose to test it. So the test is good because it forces you to work on the balance. Quite often, if we always keep the hands down, we kind of avoid working on balance. So allow one fingertip to come off the ground at a time. Inhale, lift. Long through the back leg. Soft shoulders. Relax the arms. Breathe. Long from the toes to the crown of the head. 3, 2, 1. Lower the hands, lower the foot. Let the head go and uncurl slow. Take your time. Exhale. Shake it out. Okay, so staying where you are at the top of the mat, we're going to combine all those things together. Okay, so we're going to start first by shifting the body weight over to the right leg. Buoyancy in the right leg. Inhale, squeeze the left knee up, flex the toes. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, open the leg. Exhale, draw it forward. Just doing one of those this time. Take the leg back, we're gonna balance. Allow the hands to hover above the ground. Hold here. Feel the toes spread of the right foot. Feel the pushing down and feel the length, toes to crown. Then from here, bend deeply in the front right leg, lower the back toes down, cactus arms in your lunge, lifting the chest and the heart. Drop the hands, drop the back knee, untuck the toes, flex the right toes. Inhale, lift the spine and stay tall. Now, if you really want to work on a balance here, you can lift this leg up and you can try and take the hands off the mat. Doesn't matter how high the leg lifts, but again, this is a balance. So you might give it a try, or you might choose to stay in this position. Okay, let that heel lower, come forward, tuck the toes, lift the back knee, inhale, cactus. Let's come to one more balance. So again, you're gonna go into that T, shifting forward, back leg lifts, hold. Good. Inhale, cactus arms, knee comes up, and we'll drop the foot down. Nice work. Let's take the last side here, shifting the weight over to the left, buoyancy in the left leg.
From here, squeeze the right knee in, and then flex the toes. Release, exhale, cactus arms. Draw the leg out to the side. Bring it forward again. Kick the heel in, let the arms release. The leg goes back. Find the balance. Long spine. Toes to crown. Reach through either end of the body. And then lower the back leg, toes down. Inhale, cactus arms as you lift the chest. And you lift the chin. Exhale. Let the hands lower down. Lower the back knee, untuck the back toes, shift the body weight back. Now the benefit of taking the leg off the mat and trying to balance is not only balance, but core strength. And also, we use this quadricep muscle to then release through the hamstring muscle. So you can stay in this one if you want, or you can come forward. Last breath here. Okay, let's let the heel lower down, flatten the foot, lean forward, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Inhale, come up into cactus. We'll shift forward, keep the arms in cactus, knee comes up, and then let that knee drop all the way down. Oh, I forgot to squeeze. Squeeze. And then let that knee drop down. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale. Lower down. Let's plant the hands. We're going to step back, downward facing dog. 1 foot at a time. It's at the back of the mat. Feel free to take a little bit of your own movements here. And then finding some stillness in your downward facing dog. Feeling the palms bounding, actioning down, and the reaction or the rebound is the tail reaching back and up. Long through the spine, wrapping the armpits towards one another slightly, a little bend in the knees where you need to. Breathe. We're going to take one last toe cruncher, so gently let your knees lower down, but keep your toes tucked. If you need to spread them with your fingers, go ahead and do that. And then you're going to sit your bum down towards your heels. And try and see if you can settle in a little bit here. Notice if it feels any different, any better. Let the arms relax. Feel free to close the eyes. If you need to distract yourself, then you can move the shoulders, you can move the arms, the head. Or if you need to, just take weight forward on your hands, staying for about another 5 breaths here. Okay, we'll let the eyes open, leaning forward, tap the toes, and then we'll finish by drawing the legs around to the front. And we'll draw the left foot in front of the right foot. Let's come again like we started, left circle to the right and back, and just close your eyes as you do this. Now this might be a little bit slower. This is kind of like, think of it as like winding down. So you don't have to put a lot of effort in. It's just kind of slow and subtle, mild in the body. It shouldn't be too strong, but winding down. Keeping the eyes closed, swap so the right foot is now in front. And go to the right, circling forward, to the left, circling back. feel like this. And then we're going to pause in the center. See if you can keep your eyes closed down. Find the position with the legs that works for you. If you're used to sitting on a block, you can always grab something or roll the back of the mat up to sit underneath the buttocks. In the least, grab the flesh of the bum to tilt your pelvis forward. And then finding a position with the hands. And again, we're going to reconnect to the sitting bones. Noticing where there might be imbalances. And sometimes it works really well for us to put even weight on both of the sitting bones. If you notice that you're a little bit more skewed, tilted, shifted to one side versus another. Sometimes that works really well. Other times it's not needed. Other times the imbalance actually serves us. It serves a purpose. Sometimes we need to be a little bit off balance to get things done. We need to be a little bit excessive to achieve great things. If our whole life was centered around being completely in balance, we would probably never get anything accomplished. So right now, just relinquish in your life from this idea of striving for balance. Your life is more about flow, just like it was when we were on one foot. You had to flow with the wave of movement. You had to flow to recalibrate your balance. You had to flow with the motion of the body in order to stay upright. We can't just stay completely still, completely on one part of the foot. If we don't sometimes put our weight off to one side or the other, we won't find ourselves back in the center. So sometimes things need to be excessive, be pulled off track, be imbalanced for us to achieve what we need to achieve. Being okay with the idea of flowing in directions that might not look balanced. This is reality. This is our life. Things are not supposed to be symmetrically perfect. Balance is there for us when we need it, but it is not something that we need to continuously strive for in hopes of finding constant harmony. Our harmony will come from within the off balances, the times where we are feeling off kilter, because the harmony comes from within. If you'd like to draw your palms into a prayer position, or fold your palms in your lap, or find any other position than what you're currently doing, please feel free. You might like to bow the chin down towards the chest. And just take an acknowledgement of self, an acknowledgement of you on all these different levels, how you were able to be here in this practice, to show up, be present with all parts of you, your physical, your energetic, emotional, and your mental selves. And knowing that there is beauty and harmony when things are both off balance and in balance. And there's purpose to all of it. When you're feeling ready, you can allow the eyes to open up. You might blink a few times. Thank you so much for participating in this practice.